Hey there thinkers, welcome back to Critical Hit. My name is Est, and today I want to talk about AI again, but for Japanese anime and manga, and how our Western localizers go out of their way to insert their own personal political messaging. So, let's get into this. So here's the thing. Clearly it's been 8+ years of these awful English localizations in games and anime, but the problem is that these phrases and characters are being misrepresented. These translators are either changing a phrase to mean a completely different thing than what it actually does, or change a character altogether to suit their narrative because he likes to wear a dress. So here's a classic example of why localizers are not seen in the brightest of lights. This is a scene in Miss Kyobi Dragon Maid where Lukawa was basically saying, I wanted to wear something different so people wouldn't look at me. And of course, in the localized translated version, she says,
To see you and bring these. Want some snacks?
Duh, thank you! What are you wearing that for?
Oh, those pesky patriarchal societal demands were getting on my nerves. So I changed clothes.
Give it a week, they'll be begging you to change back.
Huh?
totally the same thing, right? On X, people are quite upset with the release of the English translation with AI, which has gotten a lot of people talking about the localization of AI and how it should be used for the translation of manga. Keep in mind that the creator did come out and say this was human-assisted, where the AI translation was skimmed over by a human. So instead of addressing these concerns, these localizers have doubled down on the justification for their changes, and their self-inserts of political messaging. The one who is screaming the loudest is Katrina, with her terrible takes on anime as a whole and her awful translations. Well, she has spoken up about this in a retwix earlier, stating, I don't have words for how embarrassing and disappointing this is. Instead of paying a human to do a quality job, they're using AI to get a mediocre product for free. Is this how they think of the English-speaking audiences? Of translation? For shame. Oh, okay. Well, for one, if you were doing a great job, you wouldn't need to be replaced or given assistance because the jobs you localizers have been doing to these creators for decades, well, you're finally getting your just desserts. The fanbase has been asking for years to keep your stupid politics and beliefs out of your translations.
Hey, bitches and bros and non-binary hoes!
But they just keep doing it. So, unfortunately for them, they are now paying the price for it. And I don't feel bad for them in the slightest. Mainly because the person in particular, that's Katrina here, she's been very outspoken and colorful with her remarks. So Katrina here has also been involved in about a million different controversies. She's petitioned to ban certain phrases because she doesn't think that they're fit for Western audiences. She's personally responsible for the big butt reference translation. She is in support of localizers reimagining cross-dressers in manga as trans. Oh, also she criticizes catering to teenage boys, because apparently that's a bad thing now. Wow. So she is personally responsible for translating the anime Dog Girl. If you know, you know she couldn't help herself with inserting Gen Z language. And I kid you not, she used the word yeeted in an actual sentence. This right here completely is unnecessary. And honestly, this is why people are pissed off. Those said people also pointed out that Katrina was also in support of another translation, with painting a cross-dressing man as a trans character. And she's been very vocal about how correct those translations were. And it looks like the 7 Cs who were responsible for the anime came out with the receipts and apologized to the fans and fixed those mistranslations. Okay, it's not just Katrina doing this either. These other localizers feel like they have the moral high ground or something because they just plaster all over X. These are just tweets of random translators bragging about abusing their power and seeing what they can get away with. It really just goes to show you why we need at least some AI. So these translators claim they need to change wording to make sure that there's no offensive content. From one of the games that I've vested too much time of my life into is from Fire Emblem Fates, and one of the love interests on the female side, of course, he says in the Japanese version, "Please don't say that anymore. I don't want you as my retainer, but as my queen." But on the Western version, we get, "Yeah, it's not that I wouldn't value your service. Not at all, but your friendship and trust would be far more precious to me." When I saw this, I eye-rolled so hard I got a migraine. These localizers are taking beautifully written lines and changing them to fit their feminist ideology and cucking all these men. People just don't want to see it anymore. Or even this one, a localizer that worked on a visual novel, The House of Fata Morgana, ended up transforming the word tsundere into fragile male ego, which is not at all accurate by any means. A tsundere is a type of person who is initially cold and aggressive towards people, but is later shown to have a warmer, sweeter side. The change was fully supported by Manga Gamer. The creators of these animes made these characters likable. And with the whole objectively being pretty or looking beautiful, the problem is that these people who are translating them seem to have fallen in love with these characters and believe that these characters would never say that sort of thing. So they start changing what their characters are actually saying, which means they're changing the context of all these animes. And that's why AI is going to come in and take their jobs, because they refuse to translate the right context. See this? This right here? This is exactly what culture appropriation is. It's where you take their language and insert your own ideals to mold and form it into what they would consider an upgraded version for Western audiences. And on that note, I do believe that is everything I've got for this video. Let me know what you think of this whole ordeal down in the comments. And if you made it this far, please like and subscribe, and hit the notification bell to be notified about our next video. Well, my name is Est, and as always, I will see you in the next one. Toodles!